Why don't we start with the Clippers and the Jazz? So the Clippers beat the Jazz last night, 118-104, and that ties up that series. Now, there are a lot of things I could talk about when it comes to the Clippers and what they got done. In fact, what they're getting done. We could talk about their offensive execution. We could talk about how finally they're locking in defensively. We could talk about them going small ball. We can talk about the job that Clipper assistant Chauncey Billups has done in coaching Paul George up and turning him into a playmaker. This is why Chauncey is getting some attention and run as a possible head coach. Or we could talk about the fact that the Jazz came out and they were just flat. I mean, they were flat. They couldn't hit any shots early on. They fell into a big hole. We could talk about any of these things, but really there's only one thing to talk about, and that one thing is this thing. Tell you what, if the guy himself were here, he would say, "Throw it down, big man. This is a game played by big men for the ultimate prize. Throw it down, big man." Let me tell you something. Dudes go to jail for less than that. That was assault and battery. Do that on the street, and they're putting you away for a very long time. That might have actually been better than the jam job that Kawhi did to the Mavs in the first round. Man, this dude's coming to life at just the right time. Just the right time. I mean, you want to know how big that was. You want to know how badly that dunk reverberated around the association. Check out Joel Embiid. Joel is talking to the media post-game, and as a reminder, Joel is playing in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Hawks, and he's out there on a shredded knee. He had a really tough second half. So he's doing his due diligence. He's talking to the media, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees Kawhi go Kawhi, and he couldn't not address it. This is why this guy is a total pro. Never mind that he's out there on a shredded knee, doing what he's doing his best. This guy's in the midst of a press conference after a tough game, saw the dunk, interrupts his flow, interrupts his press conference to talk about the dunk itself, and then goes right back to answering his question. I have not heard a big man interrupt himself to talk about somebody else's play that was happening live since Joe's teammate, Dwight Howard, did that on this show back in the day. Could you see where somebody might cry during the regular season?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. Milwaukee just won the game.
That was incredible.
Oh, wow. He made him fall.
Check out Dwight doing his thing, conducting an interview here in the jungle with me while seeing Kemba Walker send Gary McGee to the morgue and then continuing on with the interview. And Joe was not alone. Miles Bridges, no stranger to nasty dunks, tweeted, quote, "Kawhi ain't just dunk him like that." Actually, Miles, that's exactly what he did. Like, my man's out here just abusing fools and having a good time doing it. I'm pretty sure that Kawhi laughed in dude's face right when he threw it down. He's laughing at him while he's doing him all wrong like that. Listen to that one more time, Alvy. It's incredible what we have. It's incredible what mics pick up these days. If you've seen the tweet from the Clippers account, you know what I'm going to talk about next. I'm talking about the facial expression from Donovan Mitchell, because it was perfect. Like, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, and Mitchell's face says about 1 billion words in that photo, and most of those words are variations of, "oh, damn," or "oh, crap." And as always, I'm not here to clown the guy who got dunked on, ever. I'm not about that. I've got nothing but respect for Derrick Favors. He went up to contest the dunk. He knew there was a good chance he was going to end up on the wrong end of an NFT, and he did. But that's his job. It comes with the territory. It happens to everybody. It's nothing to be ashamed of if you're Favors. The only person who should be ashamed in a situation like that is the guy who bails, is the guy who does not do his job, the guy who will not contest the dunk in that moment. Guys who duck out of plays and want to avoid getting dunked on are the ones who deserve to get clowned. So take it easy on Favors. Get off this guy's back. He was just doing his job. He just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that place was under the basket, and that time was when Kawhi Leonard was throwing down on his head. That summed up the Clippers' performance last night. Man, they were aggressive. They were not settling. They had a rhythm. Guys were hitting shots. But because they are the Clippers, And Clipper fan can never really fully experience bliss or joy. There was a problem. Problem being Kawhi's knee. It appeared that he injured it when he was driving on Joe Ingles in the second half, and he did sit the final 4:35 of that game. So how big of a concern is that? Kawhi said, quote, "I'll be good," after the game. So I guess that's good news. But you know, Clipper fans, they're not going to stop worrying until that team gets to Salt Lake for Game 5. Oh, and speaking of Game 5 being in Salt Lake, Marcus Morris said his twin brother Markieff is not going to be on the road to watch the Clips in Salt Lake. Quote, "He won't be coming to Utah. I don't know anybody that wants to go to Utah." Uh-oh! That's going to wake up Salt Lake fan. Hello! Check out my guy Marcus Morris doing a mini Joe Noah impression. Problem is, man, you got to finish what you start, big dude. That's only the start. If you're going to go there, if you're going to bring that up, if you're going to say, my bro ain't going to that town, then you got to go all in. You got to go full Noah. I need him to follow up with the obvious. Quote, "You think Utah's cool? I never heard anybody say, I'm going to Utah on vacation. What's so good about Utah?" I'll tell you what, I don't agree with that. Although I do agree with Joe Noah generally. And I don't agree with the take that, hey, man, who wants to go to Utah? There's a lot of good stuff in Utah. A lot of good stuff in Utah. In the wintertime, in the summertime, Salt Lake, great skiing, great hiking. Anyway. And speaking of Joe Noah, Rit, weren't you on that? Didn't you get close to that, Rit? Still on it. Rit's like, yeah, man, I got a beat on this. I think I can get Joe Noah. You think? I haven't seen it, man. Bring it on, old man. Anyway, you know you have yourself a series. Not when that series gets tied up, but you know it's really a series when not somebody loses at home for the first time, but it becomes a series in reality when somebody insults the other team's city. Then it's on. And as good as this series has been, there is still another level it could reach. Come on, Marcus. Let it rip, big dude. Let the world know what you really think about Utah. Because I know Salt Lake fan, and Salt Lake fan ain't having any of that. I know Salt Lake fan.